Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Melissa, and welcome back to my channel. I feel like the glasses were too reflective, so I'm gonna take them off. Before we get into this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me. I also have an Instagram and a necklace website and a blog. If you guys want to check those out, they'll be linked down below also. But anyways, let's get on with this video. So today, I really wanted to talk about not feeling good enough. I feel like this is something that we all struggle with as people. It's something that is constantly on our minds. It's something that we hear about on social media. It's something that we would say ourselves, I think sometimes. I know I've definitely said it myself before. I've been doing the Bible in a year this year, and I've been reading through Exodus, and oh my word, I've read like pieces of this book before, but actually reading it from like start to finish has been so amazing. I feel like I'm learning so much, and I feel like I'm learning so much from the people in it as well. I've definitely said to myself that I don't feel good enough sometimes. For me, I think that's one of the insecurities that I sometimes struggle with. In high school, I was bullied and I never felt good enough. I never felt worthy to be anyone's friend, and I feel like sometimes that feeling can still creep up on me sometimes, and I've been learning how to deal with that feeling and how to actually bring that feeling to God, because he truly cares for us and he wants to help us through those things, and he doesn't want to let us feel not good enough. We are so loved by God, and he doesn't want us to stay in that place of not feeling good enough. He wants us to know that in Jesus we are enough. So as I've been reading different books in the Bible, and also at university I have a class called Prophets, and that class has been so incredible so far. But one common theme that I keep seeing in many books of the prophets is that the prophets don't feel good enough. In Jeremiah 1, this is where God calls Jeremiah, and God says to Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1 verse 5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." So God is literally saying to Jeremiah, look, like before you were even born, I consecrated you, and I knew that this was your purpose. Verse 6 says, "Then I said, oh Lord God, behold, I do not have to speak, for I am only a youth." Notice what Jeremiah is saying right there. He is saying that he doesn't feel good enough. He is saying, Lord, I'm only a youth, I don't even know how to speak. How many times have me and you said that when we have been given an opportunity to step up in church, step up in work, or do something new? How many times have we said, I don't really know how to do that, like I'm not good enough to do that, I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Literally, I've heard myself say that so many times, and I think it's amazing and actually quite good to see that in the Bible other people felt the same way as we do. Literally, prophets who have led people out of captivity and out of exile felt the same way as we do. Over in the book of Exodus, the Lord is speaking to Moses, and he is calling him to be a prophet who later on goes to lead the Israelites out of captivity. But in verse 10, Moses says, "Oh my Lord, I am not eloquent, either in the past or since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and tongue." Even Moses is saying here that he is not eloquent, he can't speak. He's like, who am I that you're asking me to do this? Like, I'm just not good enough. And literally so many other prophets in the Bible are like this when God calls them to something. You're not alone when you feel like you're not good enough. It's something that as humans we just sometimes think. Jeremiah and Moses both had reasons for the Lord, and they both said to God, like, I don't know why you're asking me to do this, because I'm not eloquent, I'm only a youth, like why are you asking me to do this? But later on, Moses and Jeremiah both go on to do incredible things that change the course of history forever. It's not about your ability, it's about how available you are to God. Are you trusting that God wants to use you? Are you trusting that God can work through you and God can do amazing things through you regardless of your abilities, regardless of whether you have a degree or not, regardless of whether you can speak clearly or not? Regardless of your accent or of your background or of your culture, God wants to use you and work through you, and he wants to do incredible things that will change this world forever through you. If these examples from the Bible aren't enough, I literally don't know what is. If Moses and Jeremiah were like, yeah God, I'm not listening to you, I'm not doing it, if they were just like, see ya, like I'm leaving, then our history would not be the same. But they actually stepped up and they're like, you know what, I don't feel good enough, but God, I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna lean into your promises, and I'm gonna follow you and obey and do what you're asking me to do. There's been so many times in my life where someone has asked me to do something incredible, but I've been like, I just really don't know if I can. But it's been those moments where I've been like, you know what, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna trust that God is gonna use me. It's in those moments that have changed my life forever, and they've brought me even closer to God as well. In those different passages that I talked about, When Jeremiah and Moses said to God their reasons for not feeling good enough, God always reminded them of their identity, and he always reminded them of the truth and the promises. So I want to encourage you guys, like, when you don't feel good enough, what are you doing about it? Are you just sitting in pity and just not doing anything about it and just going on Netflix? Or are you going to God's truth? Are you going to God's word? Are you going to friends that will remind you that you can do all things through Jesus? We can do all things through God who gives us strength. That's what it says in Philippians 4:13. It doesn't matter about your ability. I'm currently studying a bachelor's degree in theology and youth and community, but I still feel not good enough sometimes. It literally doesn't matter about whether you have a degree, whether you don't. Like, it does not matter. God is going to work through you, and he's going to do incredible things through you because you were chosen by him and you are so loved. I hope this video encouraged you guys. This has just been something that's been so on my heart recently as I've been reading through Exodus. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!